The first thing, which is alluded to from the previous slide, is auditing. So auditing is one of those features that is very important when you're in a high compliance environment, where you have regulators that require knowledge of who's done what. And it comes up from time to time as a requirement. But the other requirement that we've been asked for more, that's lurking in here, is this: dashboard and perspective lifecycle events. So the most important thing here is we get asked quite frequently, who's doing what with the dashboards? Are the dashboards that aren't being viewed at all? And historically, it was not possible to answer that question. With 6.0, I'm very pleased to announce we can answer that question. There's more in auditing than I'm going to be able to cover in this webinar, but there's a hint to all of that stuff here on the screen. It requires a SQL database. We're going to have a look at how it works in more detail in a second, but that's our first new and quite massive feature, in my view, in this release. What it looks like is typically like this. So a table worth of audit events, but bear in mind, we're a dashboarding company. We could do better than simply a table of event data. Next thing we're going to look at here is auditing. So auditing is a massive deal, essentially, for our customers who are compliance driven, and of course for being able to see what people are doing. Now, when you set this up, you have the option to import a dashboard pack, which looks like this. And these are some of the example dashboards that let you see auditing for various aspects of Squared Up. So auditing for dashboards and perspectives, for EAs, folders, users, and the administration of auditing, because obviously you want to know when somebody changes auditing itself. So once it's set up, that is possible. The other thing you'll see here is an Explore Audit Events button. Now, obviously, seeing pretty dashboards for audit events is great, but what auditing is really sort of super useful for is being able to figure out who's doing what. Now, to demonstrate this, I'm going to find a dashboard that should be under here. It should be under Teams, SCOM, Self-Maintenance. Oh, hang on, this is just a folder. So my dashboard has been moved by someone or deleted by someone or whatever, and I can't see it. What's going on? Well, with the power of auditing, I can find it. So if I go back into Explore Audit Events, I have the ability to search my audit events by user, content, team folder, and enterprise application. So I know the dashboard was called SCOM Self-Maintenance. So I type in SCOM and you'll see self-maintenance comes up, which is great. Now, if we have multiple things with the same title, which happens from time to time, then you'll see multiple entries, but you'll see underneath they have a unique GUID. In this case, I only have one, and this will be possible to search for a dashboard, even if that dashboard is deleted, because we're searching the audit data that's stored in a separate SQL database. So when I select this, the next thing you'll see underneath is I have a checkbox here to include read events. Now, if we, in a busy environment, were to check this, clearly we'd end up with a lot of data, which is fine. Sometimes it's useful, but if you're trying to figure out what happened to your favorite dashboard, that isn't necessarily useful. So the ability to filter it is important. If I now collapse this, let's see what happened to my dashboard. So you can see about an hour ago, this dashboard was moved to a folder, team folder called Private Dumping Ground. Who did it? It was me, a guy called Bruce. Ah, man. So clearly, here it is under Private Dumping Ground. Here is my self-maintenance dashboard, alive and well. But the other thing that's interesting about that audit trail, if I go back and research for that same dashboard, is you can see that Bruce has done a bunch of other things. He's unpublished this. He's moved it around multiple times. I'm starting to wonder what else this Bruce guy has been up to. Let's have a look. So if I now search by user and search for Bruce, oops, helps if I can type my own name, int Bruce, there I am. Let's see what else Bruce has been up to. Well, Bruce has been up to a number of things, including deletes here. Interesting. Obviously, seeing this data in a table form is great, it's useful, and obviously you can export this to Excel if you want to sift and sort this in Excel. Obviously, it's all stored in a SQL database, so you can grab it from there too. But also, we can visualize it because ultimately we're a dashboarding tool. So I can see that Bruce has mostly been moving dashboards around. but also he has been doing some deletes. He's deleted a couple of things. If we wanted to sort of drill in, essentially, we could obviously filter down further by specific type of event. And you can see all the categories for things that are possible to be audited in the first place. And the other thing that's important is the time frame over which we're pulling this data back. 6 months versus 2 hours, 1 hour, whatever, is a very different perspective. Now, clearly, this is a demo lab, so it's not got enterprise level scale, but you can see if I go back to 6 months, I have a relatively significant number of events already. So the ability to filter and refine this is very, very important. So there we go, auditing, great new capability.